The purpose of the parents is to remind the child. And this is why the very first thing that you do is you give the adhan, and you give the shahada, and then you give them something sweet, the date or honey on the tongue, because it's the wa'ad, right? You give them the tadhkir, and then you give them the wa'ad. You let them take, the first thing they experience in the world is hearing what their souls already know. And then you give them the sweet taste to remind them the reward of maintaining that truth. So they know, the child, you're not doing, if the Prophet ﷺ would not order us to do anything meaningless, it's impossible. He cannot tell us to do something that is sabahlala, like batil, impossible. Everything that He guides us to is haqq, it's truth. And so the tanbih of the child is because the soul is what's being spoken to, not the baby. The baby is flesh and blood, but the soul now has access to these senses, you see, because the soul has been embodied. And so the hearing, the sight, all of these things affect the soul. And this is why what you look at will affect you. What you hear will affect your soul. It affects your soul. Inna sam'a wal basara wal fu'ada kullu ulaika kana anhu mas'ula. Your hearing, your sound, your sight, and your heart, right? Your heart, the ma'rifah, the consciousness, your consciousness, all of these the human being is responsible for. Because at the root of the human being is consciousness. And your consciousness is, you have always had it. You had it when you were a child. You have it when you're in somebody, la qadarullah. When people go into comas, the consciousness is there. It's always present. It's always present. The consciousness is always present. And that